Coming up on First at 5, we have a freeze warning for tonight and Saturday morning. We'll tell you when warmer weather is expected to return.
And cracking down on animal abusers. The trio of organizations teaming up to make sure our furry friends are treated fairly and safe.
And volunteers are getting ready to conduct an annual house assist survey. What this data hopes to achieve and more. First at 5 starts now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
The cold is sticking around at least for a little while longer as North Central Florida saw the most frigid temperatures of the season over the last week. The UF weather team says we're slowly moving away from the freezing numbers. But welcome to WUFT's First at 5. I'm Roches.
And I'm Nicole Borman. But we've got to get through a few more days of that cooler air. UF forecaster Matthew Clark is live in the studio tracking tonight's temperature drop and how soon we could see that warmer weather.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait a few more days for that warm weather. Clouds have overrolled on our campus cam this morning. Waking up, those crystal clear blue skies are back, and we saw some sunshine today for the first time in a couple days. Unfortunately, those clouds are back. Temperature 49 degrees right now, 46 degrees. Oh, there's some blue skies overlooking our west campus cam. A couple clouds moving through over our live satellite right now, just a part of a front that's moved its way off into the Atlantic Ocean. These clouds have just moved by as we headed into later parts of this afternoon. It's going to be a clear night though once those clouds move out of our area, and then it's going to get cold pretty quickly. Temperatures for the rest of our area, looking up north, 47 in Lake City and 49 over in Live Oak. It's pretty chilly across most of our area right now. So if you're going out and about tonight, those temperatures are going to start to drop, and it's going to get cold pretty quickly once that sun starts to set. And look at that, it's like a slide. Those temperatures go from the upper 40s down to the 20s, and we haven't seen 20s in these cold stretch since last year almost, and that's because we're in a freeze warning starting around 11 p.m. tonight, going into 9 a.m. I will have a warm-up, though, coming up in a few minutes.
Right now, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement is investigating a shooting at an Ocala hospital where a trooper reportedly shot a suspect in custody. According to the Ocala Police Department, the shooting happened at the HCA hospital near 17th Street just before 3 this morning. Investigators say a fight broke out between the trooper and the suspect, resulting in the trooper having to use deadly force. Nobody else was injured.
Volunteers will begin to survey unhoused people in North Central Florida Tuesday, and city and county leaders need help with this year's endeavor. WUFT's Emily Drelick joins us live from the United Way of North Central Florida to tell us about this annual effort to find out the needs of one of the most vulnerable populations.
Over 100 volunteers will meet here and begin working to collect data on the scope of houselessness on Tuesday. The North Central Florida Continuum of Care will conduct this survey, which is mandated by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The survey aims to provide information to help better serve the unhoused population. Vice President of Programs Jacob Torner says Gilchrist, Levy, and Bradford counties were missed in last year's survey. This year's volunteers will help close the data gap.
We're really excited this year to have great coverage in those 3 counties that I mentioned and to ensure that we have the data we need so that during 2025 we're taking action that's effective.
The City of Gainesville's website lists resources to help those experiencing houselessness, which include Grace Marketplace and the Community Resource Paramedicine Program. A live briefing will be held to discuss the preliminary result of the first morning of surveying here at noon on Tuesday. Live from United Way of North Central Florida, Emily Drelick, WUFT News.
Marion County leaders are warning neighbors about a scam going around the area. In a release, they say people are receiving emails and calls posing as government officials asking for personal and confidential information. They say the emails are alleged to come from county inspectors, planning, and zoning personnel. County officials say they will never request confidential or financial information to threaten or penalize applicants by email in this manner.
Neighbors in Gainesville are invited to the 2025 State of the City address next Wednesday. Stop by at Cade Museum on January 29th at 10 a.m. to hear Mayor Harvey Ward discuss Gainesville's progress in city goals and initiatives, including economic development of East Gainesville and downtown. The address will also be live streamed on the city's Facebook page and on air on Community 12 TV.
13 counties joined together to make a difference in the lives of our furry friends. As WUFT's Sebastian Broche tells us, the group of investigators, the prosecutors, forensic experts, and veterinarians all have one goal: to combat animal cruelty.
Protecting our four-legged friends in an effort to eliminate animal cruelty is why local officials teamed up to create the North Florida Animal Abuse Task Force.
Being able to bring together all of us in a location to discuss some of the cruelty cases we may have questions about or think we want another set of eyes on it.
The path being paved by people like Stern causes ripples in the Gainesville community, bringing experts together to join forces and lower a number that keeps rising.
We provide the education to the different groups involved in these task forces. We provide them with an open forum so that we can work up cases together.
Last year, the city saw its highest number of open animal cruelty cases in more than a decade. Johnson says part of the spike happened after the COVID pandemic. And in a similar period, citations for failing to treat an animal humanely nearly quadrupled since 2021. That data is one reason the task force is trailblazing the effort.
They come from different aspects of the investigation. It's like spokes on a wheel. You can't just have one spoke supporting the entire wheel. You need to answer a number of questions and then the wheel can stay attached.
The task force will continue meeting and invite collaboration between professionals fighting for this common goal. Sebastian, Broche, WFT News.
The 6th baby box in Florida will be blessed in Ocala on Monday. These baby boxes give parents a way to surrender their baby anonymously and safely. The dedication will happen at the Marion County Fire Rescue on Southwest 6th Avenue. That's just a few blocks away from Pine Avenue. The last safe haven box to be dedicated was also in North Central Florida, in Newberry last year. Organizers say there are more than 300 of these boxes across the country. Since 2017, organizers say 55 infants have been safely and legally surrendered in one of these boxes. The Alachua County Police Department has announced their 2024 Officer of the Year, Sergeant Carl Newsom. Sergeant Newsom has been with APD for over 28 years. He's held several positions during his time at APD, such as Supervisor of Traffic and K-9 Unit, and currently serves as a ship supervisor for the Patron Division. But he is also known for his passion for cooking and spending time with family and friends.
And speaking of recognition, Alachua County Public Schools announces its 2025 Teacher of the Year. Special education teacher Monica Benson was named the winner last night. Benson is a teacher at Sydney Linear Center. ACPS says her work with special needs students makes a difference in their lives and inspires the community. And coming up on First at 5, Governor Ron DeSantis calls for a special session. What leaders are expected to discuss in this meeting?
Then, how weekend rain in California may aid in wildfire control, but brings new concerns to neighbors. All that and more when we come back.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
More fires continue to rise in Southern California, and fire rescue crew are looking to weekend rains, hoping they'll give them an advantage. However, communities affected by the fires have been left with scorched hillsides. And with a weekend forecast of potentially more rain than the region has seen since last June, comes the risk of flash flooding and mudslides in burned areas. LA County officials are set to clean out debris left in burned areas to separate rain runoff from any sediment, debris, toxins, or vegetation. California fires are now tracking 9 fires at various levels of containment, the 2 largest and most destructive being Eaton and Palisades. Are over 3/4 contained. Combined, they have destroyed more than 37,000 acres. President Trump is in Los Angeles to speak with local leaders on recovery efforts.
Florida legislature will meet on Monday in a special session called by Governor Ron DeSantis. While the legislature is constitutionally required to convene after DeSantis calling the session, leaders refer to this one as premature. The governor remains tight-lipped on the session's future discussion, but wants lawmakers to help carry out President Trump's immigration policies.
There's a lot of, complex ideas and nuances and things that have to be flushed out and consider the implications, all of which cannot be done on a Monday morning. It's not. So I really don't know specifically what would be on special session.
There have been heightened activities when it comes to raids of documented and undocumented people. The governor has always taken a strong stance against illegal immigration and will continue to move to get tougher on that reform. Something that lawmakers on the other side of the aisle are not yet on board with is that stance.
There's just certain things the governor says sometimes that are just legal fiction. The state of Florida cannot and will not deport people. We don't have the means. We're going to rent ships.
Other issues DeSantis wants lawmakers to take up include making changes in the state ballot initiative process and providing hurricane assistance. As of this afternoon, no bills had been filed for the special session, according to the Senate website.
We told you last night about prescribed burns in an effort to reduce wildfire risks coming your way today. However, due to weather conditions, they have been canceled for today.
Florida Fish and Wildlife officials are looking for your opinion on the manatee protection zones in Levy County. Officials will meet with the county and stakeholders February 3rd to review potential changes to the zones of the Withlacoochee River. The public hearing allows people to ask questions to help develop recommendations for potential rule changes. It will be held from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Inglis Community Center.
If you're looking for some family fun this weekend, Gainesville is hosting a Blast from the Past event. The Hogtown Medieval Fair is coming into town on Saturday. The event is free to guests of all ages and will feature all kinds of distinct old-timey activities, including knighting ceremonies, jousts, sword combat, and a medieval marketplace featuring jewelry, art, and fortune-telling. This marks just the second time in the fair's 38-year history that Depot Park will be used as the hosting venue. While the Hogtown Medieval Fair is normally a 3-weekend event, organizers opted to shorten the festivities into 1 weekend due to Depot Park's limited availability.
And if the Medieval Festival takes you too far back in time, check out Gainesville's Winter Record Fair on Saturday from noon to 5 p.m. The Record Fair is set to have thousands of LPs, CDs, and music memorabilia. The event will be held at Cypress and Grove Brewing, hosting over 20 vendors, and offers food trucks on site and free entry and parking to attendees.
Another freeze warning is in effect for North Florida, but I will have when our warm-up is expected to begin after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Winter has been kind of flipped this winter, and snowfall has fallen across the country, but these snowfall totals seem to be flipped. One city has gotten just shy of 9 inches of snow and another just shy of 4 inches of snow. What are those two cities? Pensacola, Florida has gotten just shy of 9 inches of snow since December 1st, and Anchorage, Alaska, all the way up north, has only gotten just shy of 4 inches of snow. We've gotten more snow here in Florida than they have in Alaska in that time frame. And waking up this morning, the Alaskan low temperatures were in the lower 40s and upper 30s. Here it was in the 20s. So we're feeling colder, and we've seen more snow than Alaska. It's been a bit of a flip-flop. Look at that, 28 waking up this morning, 28 in Ocala, and 23 over in Live Oak. That's colder than Alaska. So if you wanted to get away from the heat, or getting away from the cold, you'd be going up north to Alaska. It's a little bit of a flip-flop. Campus cam right now, that sun is shining back out right now, 49 degrees. Temperatures are going to start to drop. And look at that. You got the clouds on the one side of the campus. You got super sunshine on the other side. Clouds have kind of moved its way out of our area. We had a front kind of move through off in the Atlantic Ocean. These clouds have moved through, and a high pressure system is going to build up some clear skies. It's going to be beautiful out, but those temperatures are going to start to drop pretty quickly as we head into tonight. 49 degrees in Gainesville right now, 47 over in Lake City. Pretty mild temperatures out there right now. We are feeling a little bit chillier though, because those winds are coming from the north because of that high pressure system. 13 miles per hour over in Ocala, kind of in the teens right now, low teens. We're seeing some winds. Those winds are going to start to die down as we head into tonight. And if you are going out and about tonight on your Friday night, temperatures are going to drop into the 30s. Look at that sweater weather around 10 p.m., 35 degrees. That is pretty cold. And then freezing after midnight, 30 degrees, and then we're going to be waking up in the 20s. Freeze warning is in effect after 11 p.m. because those temperatures are going to start to drop. So again, if you are out and about, you're going to be seeing those freezing temperatures, and then waking up early on Saturday morning, we're back in the 20s. First time in a few weeks we've been there. 29 over in Ocala, 24 in Lake City, and 25 over in Live Oak. It is chilly right now. That cold front that moved through on Tuesday is packing its punch right now. We're feeling it. If you're going down to Tampa though, it's going to be a little bit warmer. Look at that. We got some 60s in Tampa if you're going down to Gasparilla. Then shiver me timbers around 8 o'clock once that sun starts to set and you're on that Gulf breeze. You're getting some little bit of cold air as well. Basketball game at the O-Dome. If you're going out and about this morning to camp out, you could be in the 40s. You're going to need a jacket if you're camping out and about waiting for that game. 50s during tip-off. It's inside, nice and warm inside. But if you're leaving around 7 p.m., dropping temps like the buckets, it's going to be 47 degrees. Those temperatures are going to drop into the 30s. And then the medieval fair, if you're in a little mood for jousting session and whatnot, a little bit of rides on the ponies, you can see those temperatures in the lower 60s and the upper 50s. It's going to be a beautiful weekend to go to the Hogtown Fair if you are into the Renaissance sort of things. And then there's that heat up as we continue into parts of next week. Look at that. We're still waking up in the 20s and 30s as we head into Saturday and Sunday. But then the highs next week, or the highs this week, are the lows next week, starting to get some 70s again.
Now, listen, we may be having a freeze warning here in Gainesville, but things are already starting to heat up at the Stephen C. O'Connell Center in what looks to be a gymnastics meet to remember. We'll have everything you need to know about tonight's top 25 showdown between the Florida Gators and the Georgia Bulldogs, plus more after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
I'm Jack Meyer here with everything you need to know about what's going on in the wide world of sports today. We're starting off in the heart of Gainesville as the Florida Gators gymnastics squad is set to host the Georgia Bulldogs in a primetime Friday night meet. WUFT's Alyssa Britton-Harr is live at the Stephen C. O'Connell Center with more on what to expect from tonight's top 25 matchup.
The third-ranked Gators gymnastics team hosts 13th-ranked Georgia for an SEC matchup. Florida is chasing their first win after a tough loss to second-ranked LSU. Meanwhile, Georgia has found a new spark in its coaching staff with a former Gator. Marissa King comes home for the first time since 2013 in her first season as an assistant coach. A top 15th-ranked matchup and alumni night excites Gator Nation. Action will be underway at 6:15 p.m. Reporting live from the Stephen C. O'Connell Center, Alyssa Britton-Harr, WFT Sports.
Now staying put at the O-Dome, the Florida Gators men's basketball team will also be in action this weekend. UF is set to play host to the Georgia Bulldogs in front of a sold-out crowd tomorrow afternoon. The number 5 ranked Gators are coming off a thrilling victory over the South Carolina Gamecocks on Wednesday night. UF never held a single lead in the game until senior guard Will Richard came through with a high-flying finish with less than 5 seconds to go for the game winner. The Gators will now turn their attention to a physical Georgia squad, which UF head coach Todd Golden had plenty of praise for in his comments to media earlier today.
Just being on our home floor, we anticipate that we have to, set the tone with our pace and the way we play. I think Georgia is going to try to combat that, slowing it down a little bit. So again, coming home though, playing in front of our home crowd on Saturday, I anticipate we'll have a good crowd in there tomorrow.
Tip-off time for tomorrow is set for 3:30 p.m. Now crossing on over from the East Coast to the West Coast, former Florida golfer Ricky Castillo is still alive and climbing up the leaderboard in the 2025 Farmers Insurance Open. Yesterday, Castillo shot 3 over 75 on a windy afternoon in San Diego that saw gusts of up to 30 miles per hour. Despite some initial struggles with the weather, the 23-year-old still entered today's action, tied for 13th on the leaderboard. With day 3 of the event already underway, Castillo has climbed into the top 10 and currently sits just 1 stroke behind the top spot. Now back in the Sunshine State, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were hit with a shocking departure yesterday. Just days after agreeing to return for the 2025 season, Bucs offensive coordinator Liam Cohen is expected to be named the new head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cohen had previously taken an interview with the Jaguars before withdrawing his name from consideration for the job. That changed, however, after Jacksonville parted ways with general manager Trent Baalke. Less than 24 hours later, Cohen was back in Jacksonville, once again interviewing for the job he had previously turned down. The hire, and in turn, Cohen's departure from Tampa Bay, became official this afternoon. And finally, Florida women's basketball squad will be on the road this weekend for some action of their own. The Gators will take on the Auburn Tigers this Sunday with tip-off time set for 3 p.m. And for their own sake, I'm just going to hope that it's at least a little bit warmer in Auburn than it is down in Florida right now because, I don't want to, well, I mean, it's probably just as bad. Those temperatures, I don't know what is going on right now.
Yeah, and good luck to everyone going to that game and any of the other festivals happening this weekend because as a South California native that moved to South Florida, this cold is not for me.
Yeah. I mean, I love to brag about it, but I am from Chicago, so I am used to these temperatures.
Okay. So Mars the one person that's like, guys, it's not even that cold.
Yeah, you are.
So it's really never bothered me anyway.
Okay, Elsa.
Matthew, has it ever bothered you anyway?
Cold definitely bothers me. I won't Elsa this. I'll let you remain Elsa. I'll stick with being Anna in the warm. We're going to heat up into the warm, thankfully, as we head into this weekend and into parts of next week. But we are still going to be waking up into the low 30s as we head into Saturday and Sunday. But the good news is our high temperatures today are our low temperatures as we head into next week. So doing a little bit of a flip-flop. Sunny skies headed over our way this weekend, so it's going to be beautiful to go outside. A couple festivals going on in town, a couple basketball games as well. Be a good time to go outside and experience that sunshine we haven't really seen in a while. And then 70s again, feeling like Florida.
Right. Thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all of our social media platforms. Have a good night.